Hey everyone, we're here with a Megashift today. I have Alex Girardeau from VR Bible and VR related. And we're here at Amazon Web Services pop-up loft today. So why don't you start by just doing a quick introduction of how you use this space and how often you come to AWS pop-up.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for interviewing me and talking about VR Bible, VR related, and Amazon. So I recently moved in New York, so I discovered the space through some friends of mine, and I'm coming like maybe twice a week. It's really great. It's a free working space. You just have to basically ask for this thing.
Yeah, the
when
badge.
you first come, and then each time you come back, you just show it to the guys below, and they just let you go in. And yeah, I haven't actually had time yet to really meet people.
Really?
So I think there's tons of really interesting people to meet, but
yeah.
And I use this space a lot for to meet with people because I'm new in town, so I need to do some networking.
Gotcha.
And it's a really easy space downtown to meet.
Sure.
It's free. There's candies.
Yeah, there's some candies here.
The
Yeah.
bears,
Here we go.
whatever.
Candies.
So yeah.
Cool.
Good.
And so tell me a little bit about what you're building now, what kind of projects you're engaged with, and how how there's a lot of different parts of virtual reality. So what you sort of are bringing as a consultant, the projects you're working on.
Excellent. Basically, I started to work with VR for to create some therapeutical applications. I wanted to explore this path in VR, so I started to work with EEG sensors, and this was 2 years ago. This brought me into VR, and right now, what happened is that I realized that no one was really ready for this therapeutical potential of VR yet, 2 years ago. So I switched to something more simple, which is developing games for the cardboard, for the DK2 at the time, now for the HTC Vive, or for the Gear VR. And so I teamed up with a team that is in Montreal, based in Montreal. I was living in Montreal before. It's called Imagine 360. And so I create content for them, VR content for this company, basically. That's kind of my freelance job. And as I recently moved in New York, I got to meet with tons of people through the meetup groups Free University Group, the official Unity meetup, NYVR meetup group. And through all these people, I got to team with, to create some teams actually. Also, I work for VR Bible and VRrelated.com, so it allows me to go to events, as a press, ask for press accreditation, and meet more people. So that's also something really great. So right now I'm in New York, on the side of my work for Imagine 360 based in Montreal. Have a team here and we're doing 360 video production. We're mostly working with Kodak equipment, which is accessible and still good quality. And we're working with a 3D sound designer also.
Cool.
This is the first project that came from me here in New York. Aside on this, I'm working now with actually my partner and Sketchfab.
Okay.
Sketchfab is a company based in France and in New York, I think, and into 3D models.
Cool.
So we're working together also with the official Unity meetup group.
Cool.
Around the project, which is basically to create a VR experience that would allow the user to see Manhattan before Manhattan, when it was Manhattan.
Manhattan. Okay,
Yeah, Manhattan, before when the first settlers arrived.
Yeah.
So we're gonna display this, showcase this experience at the fall on the NYU campus.
Cool.
We're gonna use the Vive, the HTC Vive. And it's
That's
gonna
great.
be just awesome. So we're gonna work with we're creating the team right now through Meetup.
Yeah.
And we're gonna organize a workshop from now until late October.
Cool. Are you gonna partner with any museums or historical
I don't know
entities?
yet.
Okay.
Well, we're partnering actually, with the Wildlife Conservation Society.
Cool.
So it's teaming with the Bronx Zoo and Eric Sanderson's team. Eric Sanderson's team is kind of famous for like all their work they're doing for more than 10 years now, like tracing, remapping actually Manhattan.
Cool.
As it was in 1609 when the first settlers arrived.
Okay.
And
wow.
also they're also interested in the future of Manhattan. So we're really like working on this, I guess, on the edge, you know, like how was Manhattan before and what eventually, how would you envision Manhattan in the future?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're working on this field. And so there's like the Wildlife Conservation Society on the side and NYU. So I think it's already two great partners to work with in New York.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And yeah, it's going to be on broader windows. So we should have some visibility.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really, really interesting project.
Mm-hmm. And so with that project, that will be the viewer will experience that with the headset on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna start the experience basically like it's inside the building of the NYU. So you see the building, like we're gonna recreate the building itself in VR, and then the walls collapse, right? And then you have the buildings, like the actual buildings right now it is, and then this collapse again, and then you're like following a guide. I'm not saying too much, right? But, and then it brings you back in time in 1609. Cool. And then from 1609, you just experience the way you know that Manhattan got changed and transformed into what it is now.
So walk me through. So a lot of people are creating new type of experiences in VR, and it requires a lot of different skill sets and backgrounds. So kind of walk me through both in Imagine 360 and what you're working on now, kind of like what's the process for doing a production in VR? I mean, do you need game designers? Do you need storyboards? Do you need, you know, how are you creating the environment? Sort of walk me through in a broad way, sort of how you sort of set the goal and work towards it.
Yeah.
Production workflow.
I see. Well, so it really depends the kind of VR experience that you want to offer. It depends if you're working with a team, like a meetup group, or if you're working for a customer. Most of the time, like if I work for a customer or for a client, then the content is not really a game, but a kind of VR experience, which is actually not a VR experience, but a 360 video experience in a VR headset.
Gotcha.
So the workflow then is like to produce 360 videos. So you got to shoot the video, you got to stitch the video, edit, compose it, the whole video process basically.
Yeah.
And then you would integrate this video into, like by example, I use Unity 3D. So I would integrate the video in Unity 3D. I would work also with the 3D plugins for the sounds to do sound spatialization. And from there, I think that's pretty much it. Then this is the VR experience. Basically, it's a 360 video built in a VR headset. If you want to create more like a game experience, then it takes like the whole traditional team, which has to learn like new tools, but also new ways of conceptualizing, designing the game.
Right.
Because like most of the game designers, when you see them, you know, talking for conferences, are like, well, you know, in VR there's no borders, you know, there's no angles. You know, so where do you put the time, you know, the timeline or the lives or so these are like more issues complex, or questions that traditional game designers are facing now with VR. And it takes like a storyboarder every the whole team. Yeah, totally.
So where do you see it going in the next like 6 months, 12 months? Do you see the pace and adoption really catching on, or do you think it still takes a minute? Do you think it'll still take some time?
For the mass market?
Right, and I know you cover some of that in VR related.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, I can totally tell you that, you know, as an admin for like few Facebook pages and websites that are VR related, not all VR related, it's growing exponentially. It's like going crazy since the HTC Vive and the Oculus started to ship, like probably 3-4 months ago. I mean, first since the Samsung Gear VR has been available in the supermarkets like Best Buy. This changed a lot of things already, but since HTC Vive and Oculus TV1 has been released and started to ship, it grew like significantly bigger. Yeah,
cool.
It's like I don't know, man. It's exponential. It's like this, right? It's like this curve that we all know. People are asking questions. People are still like more aware about the difference between the HTC Vive and the cardboard. You know, they're like, oh, you know, this is what I experienced. Now I want more. I know there's more. People know the hardware. That's what I mean. And they start to get into the engines. You know, how to do it actually, which is really cool. It's not just like about playing.
Right.
Entertaining yourself. It's also about creating, using this new medium to create, which is like, like softwares, games or experiences like Tilt Brush.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Google.
Tilt Brush is
the
great.
HTC Vive is just like crazy.
Yeah.
It's not just like gaming.
Right.
It's just like creating. It becomes a new medium. It's like a brush, right?
For sure. So
that
that leads me into the next question of describe. In your mind's eye, and how do you envision the technology in 5 years? Like, describe a scenario where people are hanging out in VR and they're doing X or Y. Like, what to you would describe like the pinnacle?
Yeah, I bet it's a tough question. You know, I think there's really different fields that are really well designed for VR. As I told you, I started with the therapeutical potential of it. And I think there's still a lot of work still need to be done, like for like the usage of VR in hospitals or like to help kids. This is definitely, I think, something that's going to grow, but because it's more like it's going slower. Because for hospitals you need to go through administration stuff.
Right.
The gaming obviously is going to grow. You know. It's just the market that Lucky Palmer founded Oculus Rift for the gaming industry at first. So that's what it is about. I think the real estate market is also a lot. Is a lot into this new medium. I think for now, really the winner is not really VR. It's 360 video, and which was already existing before, but you didn't really have a medium to display the video. So I think so far, and that's why we're seeing so many festivals like the one we had at Tribeca here like a month ago. It's all about 360 video. It's not that much about VR. So in the next 6 months, I don't think this is going to change.
Right.
Maybe we're going to have more like streaming events, 360 video streaming events live. Yes. In a year from now, probably more games. For now, the HTC Vive and the CV1 don't really offer like too many games. There's the PlayStation VR that's going to be released at the end of the year. Should be huge. Yeah,
right.
They just did some like great announcements at the E3 event. So I guess the gaming thing is gonna really grow on like starting the end of this year. But I really don't know if it's gonna be like the main thing.
Right.
To me, what's really the most exciting is not the 360 video, it's not the gaming, it's the creative thing. It's like, wow, okay, you in Tilt Brush, you can create something that you can actually use to build a movie. Or something that you can 3D print, or something that you can whatever. There's so many things to do with like these new ways of designing. Like when you're in Tilt Brush, you don't really. You have to rethink the way you used to draw, and think about drawing. Because we're not used to be actually to create for a 3D environment.
Right.
We used to create like for drawing. We used to create on a paper in 2D. So this changes a lot, like the way we perceive. It changes the process of creation, but also the way we perceive the human experience in general. How we occupy the space, and this is like really to me the most interesting questions. What are you really doing in this like virtual environment, and how does it affect you? And how does it change the way of perceiving the world?
Very cool.
I think that's what's really interesting about this medium.
That's very cool.
To me.
Yeah.
But gaming is amazing for sure.
That's awesome. So if you want to just talk a little bit about VR related and VR Bible and your involvement with those, and how viewers can reach you if they want to.
Yeah, well, so vrrelated.com, has been founded.
Founded
2
or
years.
funded? Founded.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. 2 years ago, I think in 2014, and we have people in New Zealand, in the UK, and in North America. And it's it's a great website, if you want to get to know everything which is VR related. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And VR Bible is more like there's no websites for VR Bible. It's just a Facebook group. It's more like a community, basically, to kind of bring a community together, and it's not really only VR related. It's more, I would say, experiential technologies related, which is more like how, as I just said, how do we perceive the world how do you perceive the world once you tried VR compared to before you tried VR? What does it change? Of course, the Bible term in VR Bible also refers to like all this like spiritual involvement, or like this spiritual quest, about the cyberspace, like following the cyberpunk movement. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like doing references to all these sci-fi movies that we grew up with, like Blade Runner or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Philip K. Dick, Imaginary. It's so it's all like really like VR, cyberspace, psychedelics, like kind of merging all of these things together. And that's really what I'm into.
Very cool.
Yeah, there's also Highway 101, Highway 101 ETC for Experiential Technology Community, which is the Facebook group that I created 2 years ago when I started to do VR stuff. And that's always about about the ethical questions that are brought by the usage of VR and mixed reality experiential technologies at wide. So yeah, people can reach us through Facebook, on VR Bible, vrready.com, and Highway 101 ETC also on Facebook website.
Cool. Well, thanks so much to Alex for joining us on Megashift today, and we'll catch you guys on the other side.
All right. That's true.